What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the President of the United States of Mar-a-Lago of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, how are you today?
Doing great. We're poll numbers for me are great. Poll numbers for Sleepy Joe are terrible. So we're feeling optimistic. January 6th, fake committee is over. So you don't have to listen to Liz Cheney. Just and look at that. The computer just asked me, "Sir, are you playing music?" It called me sir, and it was because Zoom knows how musical I am, and it hears me make noises and thinks this is like. Remember the guy from Police Academy, the black who did all the noises?
Michael Winslow?
Carl Winslow, right, from Family Matters. And he was a cop, by the way. He was also strong law enforcement. I would have, if Urkel had showed up in my house, I would have shot him right in the face. You can't fool me. Just because you're wearing suspenders and glasses doesn't mean you're not a strong gangbanger threat. And I would have shot Urkel right in the face and said he was attacking me. I feared for my safety. But and then the cops would have come in and I would have said, "Did I do that?" And it would have been very, very strong ending to a very special episode of Family Matters. Donald J. Trump murders Urkel for being a gangbanger. But no, we're feeling very strong, and not sure what I was talking about before, but we're doing well. How are you, Texter?
I'm well. I'm well. I wanted to ask you.
It's called a joke. It's called a joke, and nobody cares.
I wanted to ask you: Is Truth Social buzzing right now because Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, has COVID? Twitter, I haven't seen a little bit here and there, but I'm sure Truth Social is lighting up with the hashtag, or what do they call it on Truth Social? Is it called the hashtag?
That's a good question. I think we discussed it on a previous episode. We've done some rebranding. So it's not called a hashtag. I think it's called a that's a great question. We need to, the branding was just redone, and I think it's called a tic-tac-toe.
That's right, a tic-tac-toe.
All right, so it's a tic-tac-toe, and Jovid Biden is right now. It doesn't trend. Remember, we don't have trending topics on Truth Social. It's not getting consent on Truth Social, because it's so out there, everybody's talking about it, that's just flooding your timeline, whether you ask for it or not. So it's called our topics that are what fake Twitter calls trending, we call non-consensuals.
Non-consensual topics. Okay, so it's a non-consensual. What are your
Jovid Biden?
Jovid Biden. Is this is the second time he's gotten it?
I think it's the first. I think it's because he thought, well, you know what? Donald J. Trump had COVID and we had the strongest economy. So maybe Jack, I got to get COVID, Jack. And he said to Dr. Joe Biden, he said, "You're a fake doctor. You can probably give me COVID."
Do you think he's getting the same medical treatment? Did he go to the hospital? Have you researched any of this, that he's getting the similar treatment that you got?
No, because thanks to me, we have Trump vaccines. We have Trump Paxlovid, which is helpful. We have all these. It's almost like, and you don't hear Sleepy Joe. You don't hear Jovid Biden thanking me. How about a thank you? Wouldn't that be bipartisan? Wouldn't that be nice to say, "Sir, I'd be a dead bag of bones if it wasn't for you, sir. So thank you for your leadership on COVID." But now Sleepy Joe takes pictures with his German Shepherd and says, "I'm doing work, Jack." And it's very sad for our country.
Wanted to ask you, just out of nowhere, they're trying to get rid of gay marriage, and I wanted what your thoughts on this are. Getting rid of gay marriage. What's the point? Do you think there's? I don't understand the problem with it.
Oh, as a very pro-life Christian person, the point of getting married is for kids. And last time I checked, uh, you know, I'm not a medical doctor, but I know science very well. And you
Mm.
can't have kids out of your ass. So
Can't have
I
ass
think it's,
babies.
well, we need to leave it up to the states. And some states, like radical left California, they love their gay marriage, so they can keep it. We can disagree. But in strong Christian states that aren't going to hell, like Mississippi and Alabama and Arkansas, there should be no gay marriage if that's what they want.
I understand you're going by the Bible and religion, but you don't think that encourages hatred at all. Encourages, I don't know, people to go at each other
You know what
more
encourages hatred?
negativity.
Ma- Marriage. Have you seen how unhappy people who are married are? That's hatred. I think all marriage should be banned. And then I could say to melanoma, darling, sorry, we got to get divorced. Marriage is no longer legal. Too bad. Because I really liked you for about 18 months.
So
And
you're
then you
hoping
started
this
walking around with
snowballs.
that 7 foot kid, Biloxi,
So you're hoping this snowballs from same-sex marriage to eliminating all marriage.
all marriage. And then Bobert and I will just have to be domestic fuck buddy partners.
Is that what the name's going to be?
That's on your tax form. It'll say, are you a domestic partner, a fuck buddy, or a domestic fuck buddy? And that's, you'll get the most tax write-off for that. That's a very special relationship when you're a domestic fuck buddy.
You get the most write-offs for a domestic fuck buddy. Okay.
Most you can, you're right off just about everything.
Now, Joe Biden, COVID. I don't know. It's with the Joes. Joe Manchin, also COVID.
Well, Joe Manchin, and you might want to put this on the internet, so I'm going to say something very strong right now. Joe Manchin has been a tremendous friend to Republicans. Okay, he has basically been the reason that Joe Biden can't get anything done. And he's a leathery guy, sort of sleazy, but he loves his fossil fuels. He loves coal, he loves oil, and he's making a lot of money off that. So I respect the fact that he's motivated by greed, but he pretends not to be. So that's all good. But he could do one more thing to help Republicans. If he would die, if he would get COVID and then have a fatal case, all of a sudden we'd get a Republican appointed from West Virginia to take his place. And then guess what? 51-49 Republicans and turtle god Mitch McConnell, that droopy piece of shit, would be running the Senate. And how about that? So Sleazy Joe, we call him Sleazy Joe, Sleazy Joe Manchin. You've helped us so much so far. And if you could just go all the way and just say bye-bye and let COVID take you to that coal mine in the sky. And we can get Turtle Mitch running the show, which is a lot better than Weepy Chuck Schumer.
Well, hopefully he comes through for you. I'm hoping.
Well, and if he comes through, it's sort of it's honestly, it's kind of my fault because it'll probably come through because of strong vaccines and drugs. Trump pharmaceuticals, we should call it.
I think also strong thoughts and prayers. That would have something to do with it too.
But to be honest, I'm not doing much of either for Sleazy Joe Manchin. Like I said, we respect what he's done, but it's sort of. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you could save the world, and all it took was one piece of shit from West Virginia that you didn't care about, and you had to go by the way, he or she, or maybe even a they, maybe there's a non-binary person in West Virginia, and you just say bye-bye, and the whole world's better. Wouldn't that be nice? You'd feel a little guilty, but then you'd say, well, it's called the greater good. And all I'm saying to Sleazy Joe Manchin is if you really want to bring the country to a better place, everything you've been doing, all the things you've been doing to stop COVID, Joe, would be even better if Turtle Mitch were running the show. Bars. If you listen back, that actually rhymed. Sometimes I have such great raps. That's why they call me the rapist.
Best rapist ever. How long do you think it's going to take Joe Biden to recover from COVID? I think you were on your feet in a few days. What is your prediction?
Remember when I walked up to that balcony and took that mask off? I was so strong. They said to me, "Sir, we've never seen such strength." I think Sleepy Joe. I don't think he's ever going to recover. I don't think he's recovered from life. I think life is still kicking his ass. So COVID is probably running a train on him.
Do you think his wife is going to end up getting it as well? I mean, they probably are in close quarters most of the
I
time.
think
She's taking care of him.
I think Sleepy Joe. I give him credit. I think he's so weak that he's turning COVID weaker.
You fucking idiot. Sorry, my dog's pissing on the fucking, you fucking asshole. I'm a fucking dog.
I hate it when Tiffany does that. When Tiffany walks into a room and just
Peter,
takes a
get over here.
big pee on the carpet, and you say, "We got to get the hell out of here."
President, let me pull this dog outside. My apologies. Let's.
Unbelievable. The tech stuff guy has lost total control. By the way, listeners, it's just us. This tech stuff guy is getting fired so damn quickly. How do you have a dog and you can't even control your dog like a dog? Unbelievable.
I didn't
I was
strike the
just
dog or anything. He's just
no,
a
I was just
new.
talking to the people that it's a very sad day when your tech stuff guy can't even control his dog like a dog.
You're right. I can't control my dog like a dog. That's so true. And he looked at me. And the thing is, I knew he was pissing. This dog takes like 45 to a minute pisses. And I thought there was a leak coming from the ceiling. That's how loud it was. Jeez.
I'm writing to the agency after this episode saying I'd like a strong tech stuff person who doesn't have his dogs run all over him. First he has his own kids doing a January 6th on him, and now his dogs are joining in. It's almost like the dog is the QAnon shaman. Your son is, you know, knocking out windows and assaulting people, and then your
Uh,
dog shows up like the QAnon shaman, going roar.
can't believe this
Truly,
happened.
truly disgraceful. Disgraceful work.
It's just I don't know. I'm trying to train this dog. You're not a dog guy. You don't have dogs. We got the second
Um,
dog and he just, I don't know, just pissed right in front of me and stared at me the whole time. What a,
Honestly, when I go to Russia, I actually insist that the prostitutes make eye contact with me while they pee. So maybe your dog is a Russian prostitute.
maybe my dog is an undercover Russian prostitute. I didn't think about that. But now,
I speak dog Russian. No, but I'm not going to do it because I know everybody was very impressed with my Transylvanian last week. But no, I'm not going to. I got to save something for people. So now that dog Russian, it's like pig Latin, but it's more dog and Russian.
do you think you would ever, a lot of people want your son to come on the podcast again, Barron. They want him to come on the podcast again. Do you think you would make an appearance with him, let him back on? He's 7 foot, people. I saw a picture and you're a big guy and he towers over you.
You must be thinking of somebody else because nobody towers over me.
He's he's a he's a tall young man and he was very entertaining on the podcast. Everyone really enjoyed him. Lots of
Well, and I had a deal with Melanoma. She said I put Trump in mouth if you let Barton do bonus podcast video. And so I pulled out the big Cheeto and said, get on it. And while I was preoccupied, Bartholomew just ran in and did a video, apparently for the Patreon people. But we'll see. We'll see if he can join again. He's depends if Myanmar is nice to me.
Well, we have a big event coming up this Thursday. Is there a possibility that Barron Trump makes an appearance at Shinzo Abe Palooza, which is this Thursday, July 28th, 9 p.m. Eastern, only for Perfect 10 Patreon Patriots? We've had a bunch of Perfect 10s roll in this past week.
I've been
Just
seeing the
yeah.
numbers; they've actually been quite strong. So it's about time people start. I don't. It's sort of like you're saying to people, "Do you like great things? Do you like having fun?" And a lot of the fans are basically going, maybe. What do you mean, maybe? Do you like greatness and funness? Well, then you want to be a Perfect 10 Patreon person.
Go to patreon.com/MPGA
9
to
p.m.
become a
Eastern
patron.
this week.
Yes, 9 p.m.
Because
Eastern.
I have very important meetings at a law firm in Manhattan 3 days a week. So that gets me home, gets me to the strong podcast headquarters a little later. It's not like before. Business is picking back up. So they say, sir, we need you in the office immediately, sir. And you go because you're doing strong business.
And any listeners out there that can create a logo for Shinzo Abe Palooza, we'll use it on Thursday. A respectful
logo.
Yes.
Okay. And I will tell you this. I'll tell you one Shinzo story for everybody. But it's going to be a tribute. It's going to be a tribute to Shinzo. We're going to have Chinese food, and we're going to be playing Korean pop music, K-pop music,
Yes.
And he used to see Melanoma's son, Bridgerton. And when he would walk in, Shinzo, he had a sense he was serious and a very great leader, but he had a nice sense of humor. And he saw Bridgerton walk in with mashed potatoes, and he looked up and he said, "Oh, Godzilla!" And we all had a big laugh until Shinzo punched Bridgerton in the solar plexus because he's so tall. He punched him, and you should have said, "This." He came down like a ton of bricks, and that's when I realized, we had a laugh, and I told Shinzo, "No, that's Melanoma's nephew or somebody. That's Baskin Robbins, and you don't punch Baskin Robbins. He's got 31 flavors and 9 feet of height."
Now, Mr. President, you were saying we should make a classy logo. If any listeners
if we do,
out there,
but I think people understand that this is going to be a powerful, emotional tribute, and we'll talk about other things. But it's really a night to honor a great world leader and probably my best friend. Shaka Zulu was a great leader, and we will remember him. But I did want to bring up one other thing since we were talking about the Patreon, because I noticed something very disgusting happened on our Patreon. That all the levels, we usually do strong bonus episodes. I think we did a bonus. We even let Melanoma's son, who we've been talking about, Bennigan's. We let Bennigan's do a bonus. So we allow other people, if they have strong talent and you're doing a favor to their mother who gives you a strong oral. It's not exclusively. Sometimes we're very generous. I think Don Jr. has done, Mike Lindell. We've had some of the great people do this. But I noticed while I was probably out doing a rally in front of many people, there was a monkeypox bonus episode with the biggest, gayest, most treasonous vice president in the history of any country. I don't even want to say his name. Let's just say it rhymes with, well, I can't say that either because it's a Jewish slur. But it's the coffee at Starbucks, Pike. Pike is one of their, it rhymes with Pike. And
fence
also rhymes with Spence.
Okay.
So Pike Spence got a bonus episode, which I did not approve. And I could even tell whoever the tech stuff guy was doing it with him, it was a very sneaky and gay conversation about Mike Pence. and we're gonna look into who did that, but it's a disgrace. And it's
I,
on the
I will look
Patreon
into it.
right now for all the levels. And I urge people to not listen to that because it was a disgraceful, sneaky LGBTQ pants event.
And also, one more announcement, Mr. President. Anyone who lives in the Westchester area, there is a new comedy club opening called B-Side Comedy Club by Joe Matarese, great comedian, friend of the podcast. And we're looking anyone in the Scarsdale, New York area, Westchester area, anywhere. I don't think we've ever done any live. We've done the live pod in the city and Jersey, but never around here. It's a small, intimate room. You're going to do a stand-up show or a live pod. So tweet at us or write on the Patreon if you are nearby there. We just want to see what listeners are nearby in Scarsdale, New York. That's in Westchester. So tweet at us or hit us up on the Patreon. Now, Mr. President, you mentioned this before. January 6th committee has taken a break till September. The January 6th committee is on vacation. I thought that committee never sleeps. Apparently, they need to get away. Are
They
they
need to
doing this to
rest
drag
for
their
their
feet? What do
lives.
you think they're doing this for?
I think they're doing it because they don't really care about our country. They think they're a TV show. They're like, oh, wait till the fall finale of fake committee. Uh, Liz Cheney probably has to get her cankles repaired and maybe have another cup of coffee because she's so dry.
Mr. President, did you see that picture of Nancy Pelosi?
Well, she's she is an Epi winner. Are you referring to her Epi winning assets?
Yes. Did you see that photo?
I
Now,
didn't, but I'm looking it up right now. Zip.
yes. Now, do you think those are real? That's
What
a big
picture is
debate
this?
going on.
Where's this picture? I don't see a
She's
picture.
wearing this V-neck shirt. I'm sure if you just put Nancy Pelosi cleavage photo, I'm sure you'll get it.
It's cleavage with 3 E's or 4.
I think 4.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh, Tucker Carlson had. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm pretty sure we need to have an Epi Lifetime Achievement Award. I think we've already honored them once in a bipartisan way. But let me tell you something.
Please.
Nancy Pelosi is like 80 years old.
And those look
I'm
28.
I mean, she walks around in high heels with a pair of cannons. Let me tell you something. If Nancy Pelosi were a Republican, I say this with great respect. If she were a Republican, I might take her out for a meal and a nice date and a motorboat. But very impressive. I say that as somebody who hates her politics and hates her, but very impressive.
I was very impressed also. Now, the January 6th committee, do you think that they're just gathering this evidence in September? They're just going to floor everyone with all this evidence against you? Or do you think they are nervous and don't know what to do? So they're taking this month to kind of figure out a new game plan. What are your thoughts on the January 6th committee taking this break?
I think they're all taking a break because they saw Nancy Pelosi's cleavage and were like, we can't do business right now. We have to admire a radical left national treasure. I mean, let's just be honest. The January 6th committee can wait, but how does an 80-year-old woman walk around in heels carrying around 2 sacks of flour in her chest? Like, it's impressive. This is why I always respected her more than crying Chuck Schumer, because I always knew she was tough. And I think that's where she gets her toughness from. High heels. And notice she doesn't slouch. Good posture. That's tough. So that's the last nice thing I'll say. But I have to say, I mean, I think we might have to present her with another Epi award. the end of the year, the Jeff Epstein Awards. But no, I think the January 6th committee, they want to go on this summer vacation. They know that it's not, they know it's not important. They know what they're doing is fake.
Mhm.
So they're going to come up with new evidence. Oh, sir, we talked to the Secret Service, and the one that was fucking Tiffany says that, did you know that?
No.
Tiffany is, once again, very coincidentally, has my last name. Apparently, she was having sex with a Secret Service person.
So the Secret Service person was having sex with a dog? That is disgusting.
Like a dog. I think they were doing it doggy style. Roof. Anyway, no, I think the January 6th committee, they'll come back with a new story and new evidence, and they're just trying to throw off the midterm elections. They're trying to win the midterms for Democrats. That's all.
Well, we're going to find out in September and see if you're right. And a lot of these things where there has been lots of things against you, alleged.
Let me tell you something. If we
Yes.
have a bad midterm, if the midterms go badly
Mhm.
for strong MAGA people, Yan 6th will not be anything compared to Deck 5.
Deck 5 now.
December 5th. You look at it. If the midterms don't go well, Deck 5 is going to make Yan 6 look like a nice holiday.
Well, we're going to find out about this. And you've been right when there have been allegations against you, and none of them came out with any kind of outcome against you. So,
How many women accused me of sexual assault, and I haven't
Uh,
faced any penalty for that?
what is it, like 18 or something like that? Or more
She
than
was she was 14, but that's legal in Indonesia, so I don't know why we're even talking about it.
that? Okay. Mr. President, we spoke about this on a former episode. Steve Bannon, the January 6th committee, Congress wanted to speak to him. He was recently convicted of contempt of Congress. Looks like he'll be serving jail time. Now, what do you have on this man?
Well, and who is this again?
Steve Bannon. He worked
See
for
the
you.
did he do the yogurt? You know, like Bannon yogurt, the fruit on the bottom,
No,
which is what
no,
we called Mike Pence.
you call Pence the fruit on the bottom of the yogurt.
Well, no tech stuff. We called him fruit on the bottom.
Okay, just fruit on the bottom. A power bottom.
Yogurt was what was on his lower back.
Now, Steve Bannon worked for you. He was the
A lot of tech stuff.
White
You
House
work
chief
for me.
strategist.
Excuse me, you work for me. So I don't even know
I-
your name. What is your name?
White House chief strategist. I feel like
No,
that's
your name
someone
is
who,
your name is not White House chief strategist. That would be a
Jay.
very strange.
Jay is my name.
Okay, Abe. The point is, a lot of people work for me. A lot of people. Okay, when you're successful, you have a lot of people working. It's a good thing. Now we try to turn that into a bad thing in this country, but I don't remember everybody. Sometimes I have a secretary say, "Oh, send that Steve Bannon some cool instructions and a fruit basket. It's the holidays." So what are you gonna do?
If this man would rather serve jail time, if you don't know who he is and he's so non-important and he's not on your radar,
What was
this
this?
man, Steve Bannon, would rather go to jail than talk to people who can get you arrested and are trying to form this giant case against you. He would rather go to jail than speak to them. So you have to have some kind of intel on this man that he would rather
Yeah.
go to jail. Because if he would be really loyal and faithful if he was actually someone important, you guys had a relationship. You don't even know who this man is. So why would he do this for you?
Now, whoever this person is, Dan Stephen, what I would say is, I know this is a shock to radical left people all over the world, but sometimes people respect their president and don't want to snitch and don't want to make up stories. So maybe he just thought, I like this president. I think he's great for America, and I don't want to help Congress try to tear him down. And I think that's called patriotism. That's called respect. That's called not snitching. And it's called patriotism. And maybe you should look into it.
All right.
Because I could tell if Congress talked to you, you'd be like, I tech stuff, swear to say everything you want me to say. So help me, tech.
Is that what I would be? I don't know. Now, Mr. President, I wanted to ask you, well, people have been writing to us about the YouTube channel and love watching the videos. And then I saw a tweet recently where some people are watching this on YouTube, some people are Spotify, some people are Apple, and want to make an announcement to everyone. If you are on the YouTube and only watching YouTube, go to Apple Podcasts and just click subscribe. It helps our numbers. And same way around, if you are just listening on Spotify or listening on Apple iTunes, go to mpgapod.com, go to the bottom, click on our YouTube link, just subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's for free. And if you haven't seen any of the episodes that you are listening to, you can check them all out and actually see the podcast as well. And it will just help us out. So if you could subscribe on one and subscribe on the other, we'd really appreciate that. It's no cost to you, and it just helps out our numbers. Now,
And reviews.
and reviews, of
More
course.
reviews
Yes.
on Apple.
Some reviews have come. Some new reviews have come in, but definitely not enough. I agree with you, Mr. President.
Apple Tunes.
That's right. Now, Mr. President, we spoke about this this Pike. What was it? Pike. I said fence, and what do you? Pike Spence. I don't want to call him by his real name, but Pike Spence, his aide, one of his former top
Well,
aides.
it's about time he got AIDS. He's been living very recklessly, very on the down low.
It's not that kind of AIDS. That's one of his former top aides, a person who was close working with him, and
Martin
in
Short.
business operations. They testified to the grand jury in the January 6th committee investigation. What are your thoughts on someone so close to the inner circle testifying?
Martin Short doesn't know anything about January 6th. And I've heard that his show on Hulu, which isn't even a real thing, Murder in the Building. Why would we trust the word of somebody who does a murder show? Why would we trust this person? So Martin Short knows nothing. He's weak. He's also very short. And so he worked for Mike Pence. Congratulations. He worked for Mike Pence. He worked for the weakest, most treasonous gay vice president in the history of any country. And that's, your credibility is zero. You do weak shows on Hulu, and you worked for the weakest vice president we've ever had. So I don't know why you'd have any credibility.
Okay. Mr. President, I don't know what you've been doing. Have you been down in Florida or have you been in New Jersey?
In New Jersey.
Now it's been hot everywhere. This heat wave that has been going around our country and the world. What are your thoughts on this heat wave? How have you been staying cool during this heat wave?
Well, I have, we turn the air conditioner on full blast in every room, even if we never even go in that room.
Okay.
I have interns, very sexy interns from a local Hooters that closed down. They walk around fanning me so that I get maximum air conditioning. We leave all the faucets running with cold water, which creates a little cool fountain atmosphere. And so it's very relaxing.
Do you leave the refrigerator and freezer open as well?
Sometimes we do that as well if it's an extra hot day. We've only done it for like 14 straight days here, so it's the only thing I know. We have to figure out why we're having these heat waves. Probably Sleepy Joe. He's cooling the economy and heating the planet. But I know that it's not climate change. So we have
How do
to
you know
find
that?
out what it is. No, because climate change is a total made up radical left hoax. But once we find out, so we've eliminated climate change as the cause. It's like detective work. So now that we know it's not climate change, we're going to look into other things that it might be. It might be these electric cars. Nobody's talking about how electric cars. You know how your phone gets very hot in your hand if you're using it for a long time?
Yeah.
What if these electric cars, what if burning gas and oil is actually better for the planet? And these hot batteries in all the Teslas, what if they're so hot that they're warming the planet? Nobody ever thinks about that. Nobody ever asks that.
It's a good point. I never thought about that. It could be all the electric cars and just everything electric. You make a good point, Mr. President.
Yes, I know that. Thank you.
Now, I thank you once again for joining us week in, week out, and especially this
Strong
Thursday.
in, strong out.
Strong. Okay. I didn't mean that you weren't strong. I meant like the date.
Please do the announcements.
Yes,
Thank you. I have to
okay.
get back to
Okay.
important tasks.
So this Thursday, July 28th, we have our Shinzo Abe Palooza. It is going to be a very memorable night, very sad. Please make sure you have cake pop music available and you are eating Chinese food in respect to Shinzo Abe for Shinzo Abe Palooza.
You can
And
also have Thai food.
you can also have Thai food. Vietnamese food or no?
Do they even eat there? They're always very skinny and
Okay.
very skinny people.
And like I said before, if you are in the Westchester area, reach out. We want to see and possibly do a night over at the new B-Side Comedy Club. I do have a date coming up and I am not prepared. It is in August 27th. I'll be at Fairfield Comedy Club at 8 p.m. And check that out, fairfieldcomedyclub.com. And some more dates coming up soon, but that's all I have right now. Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everybody. Join us for Shinzo Abe Palooza Thursday. And there's so much bonus content every month. Every perfect 10 person, every single one says, sir, I can't believe how great the content is. And I say, well, I can, because I was there when we made it. Hey, everybody, it's JL. Thank you if you're still listening. Moving progress is being made on Half Blackface, my special. So that is finally some positive news. I hope in the next month or so to have some really concrete announcements about it. But we are finally out of the holy fuck, why is this happening to my career phase? And so that's a good thing. I am at the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, New Jersey on August 19th. It's a Friday, so come on out. I enjoy that town. I've actually attended multiple shows at that venue, and now I will be performing there. Look at that, dreams come true. And then I will be back at that venue to watch Richard Marx perform in November. So I beat Richard Marx there. How about that? Former guest, social media friend, and by the way, show attendee when I was in LA. So if none of you, if you're listening to the show and you haven't seen me live, who do you think you are, better than Richard Marx and Daisy Fuentes, who came to my show in LA? Beyond that, obviously I have the Righteous PK podcast, new every Tuesday, and my own Patreon with some fun stuff there. So if you've got extra bucks to spare after feasting on MPGA, go over there and spend a couple. Beyond that, nothing else to report. So if you're still listening to this, thank you very much. We appreciate it. God help us all.